I didn't even add myself to the stream. Welcome, everyone. If you're joining and you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. My name is Ashley on this channel, Ashley in Africa. I share my experience of living, moving, and doing business here on the continent. I am currently in South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa, and it's cold, right? So I have on my robe, which they call gown here, also with my turtleneck. Let's see if I can rock with my turtleneck. It's not so bad, but it's gonna get bad. So if so, I will be throwing it on. But welcome to the stream. If you want to be greeted, greet me in the comments. Let me know where you're joining from. Support the stream. We've been bringing a lot of value to the community. I get all of your messages, your emails, your DMs, and I want to feel that support. So say hello. Let me know where you're joining from. Hi, Victor. Welcome. Let me know where you're joining from and say hello. When you enter into the chat, like this and share it with someone who finds value in it. I want to talk about the value of economics and doing business here on the continent of Africa. I don't, I do my best not to spend a lot of time in speaking very ill, right, about situations that are happening in the US. And there was a situation that happened or that is currently underway and happening in my former hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. And there's just a lot of chatter on the internet about it for people that are familiar with Black owned business and doing business in America. And so we're talking about the difference, right? In Black economics here on the continent versus in the US. And so, so much of the pushback that is online, because it's not necessarily um, over here, because I believe over here, we're very convinced about the future of the continent. We're clear. We know that the continent is growing. It is now, it is not just next. It is a superpower. And there are other countries around the world that aren't necessarily or cannot necessarily claim this position. And so, with a growing population, with upward trending economic data, with growing hubs, ports, economic opportunities, economic infrastructure, like it's just intuitive, I think, for the person who is thinking long term, who is thinking visionary. You're looking at the continent of Africa, right? You're not looking at the US or the UK or the EU. You're looking at the continent of Africa, right? And trying to figure out how you can be involved. Um, and so we're going to talk about that. So let everyone say hello. Wow, welcome, Victor, from joining from Pretoria. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hi, Warsame, or is it Warsame from, where are you from? Hi, Gina from Texas. Leonard watching from Sweden, Stockholm. Wonderful. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate your support. Like this and share it with someone. Um, DIY John from New York is hot. I believe it. Warsame, oh, you're from Canada. Wonderful. IK from Germany. Wow, all over the world. So clearly, right, y'all are joining in. You watch the content, you appreciate the content, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Um, the stream from KZN. Oh, you reminded me. I think I need to reach out to somebody about doing a collab. So thank you, the stream, for joining. Tadios from California, San Diego. Welcome so much. So yes, so you guys are representing, right? Y'all are here to represent, and let me know. We can talk about some other things. I'm gonna do my best to go live every day this month, so everyone here can hold me accountable. We're gonna go live every day about 5:30 p.m. to talk about different topics. But today we're talking about the economics of doing business, Black business, right, in the US versus on the continent of Africa. And so I think for many people, specifically here in on the continent, yes. Can I have chapati? No. Is that chapati? Yes. You can have chai. Thank you. So for people that are watching, I think things happen and things go down in the US. Um, it looks like, there's this Black excellence, Black people are doing well, Black people are hustling, getting to the money. And yes, is this true? Yes. What is also true is that there is an intense anxiety surrounding these folks around the impacts of doing business in that country, the impact that it takes on their mental health, the impact that it takes on their families, the impact that it takes on their self esteem and their self worth. And so, we're seeing a lot of challenges, a lot of the folks that I talk to dealing with intense anxiety, inabilities to leave work, leave home for work, inabilities to let their children outside to play, the anxiety of just living and doing business, the microaggressions, the marginalization. It is a serious thing. And, having had been in the community of Black business owners with Black tech startups, working with businesses that were looking to bring, funding or awareness to people of color, or Black businesses. Um, it just became very clear to me that the foundation of what my home country, right, my country of citizenship, my country of origin is based on is unsustainable, and foundationally not for the benefit of Black people or people who originate from the continent of Africa. And it had to be done. It had to be done outside of that environment for me. And now I'm on the outside looking in, I'm seeing all of the emotional ways in which it is even more unsustainable and how things are just not likely to change, right? So let's get into it. I really want to talk to people here in the community. I want to hear how you're feeling. How do you feel about that? What are some of your questions and what are some of your concerns, in terms of doing business or migrating to the continent? Recognizing that everybody is not going to move to the continent. I don't think that that is the solution. However, I do think that creating platforms, creating opportunities for people to build businesses in upward trending, growing economies is a solution. Helping people, teaching them how to build location independent businesses for the growth of Africa is a solution. For the growth of Africans, that is a solution. And so that's what we're doing in the Africa Investors Academy. So I want to answer your questions. I want to hear how you're feeling about it. Um, if you're doing business in the US, like what is your experience been like in doing business there? And have you experienced any challenges around race, right? Because business is easy, business is not easy anywhere. Business is not easy anywhere, right? But what is removed when I'm here on the continent is race. I no longer am in a position to say, oh, I can't get ahead because I'm a Black woman. Or, oh, I can't get ahead because I'm Black here. No, I'm in Africa. Everybody's Black. And I'm in South Africa right now, which is the most diverse country on the continent. And the same challenges that um, people think about when you're dealing in a diverse culture, because America is a diverse nation, there's no way the same challenges from a business perspective, from a race perspective. Now, are there some issues here stemming from history? Absolutely. Are they still impacting communities? Absolutely. But as far as building a business and getting to a place of scaling your business, you can't not scale because you're Black. That's not an issue. I removed that issue when I left America to build a business here on the continent of Africa. And I recognize that there are privileges that I have as an American speaking English, being American. That is a given, and I am aware of that. I'm also aware of the fact that I'm building in a country and in a continent that foundationally has been created for the abundance of Africans. That is what I know as well. So let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Welcome. Hi, Andrew from North Carolina. Welcome. Hi, Dave from Nairobi. We're really joining from all over the world. I really appreciate y'all. Please like the stream and share it with someone who would find value in it. Yumi14, I am in Johannesburg, South Africa. That's going to change in a couple weeks. I'll be heading to Zanzibar for our Africa Investors Academy Summit. Sorry, let me take this off the screen. Julie, you would like to rent a flat. Is that something difficult to do? It depends. Anything is possible. What do you mean difficult? Hi, Robert, joining from Nairobi. All right. So let's see. How many entrepreneurs do we have on the call? One of the biggest questions I get are their jobs. I encourage people coming to the continent to have a business that they are either growing from the US or that they are establishing here on the continent. And so I've gifted members of my community today with our top 10 six-figure business models for the continent of Africa. That first draft is out. I'm really excited about it. It's my first ebook. And it seems to be going really, really well. Like people are into it. So once I get their feedback, I will be publishing that content, making it available for the full Ashley in Africa community. But if you're an entrepreneur, let me know what it is that you do. Let me know what questions that you have as well about making your move to the continent. Gina, is there an African stock market that a new investor could take in from the US? Sure. So Gina asks this question: is there an Africa stock market that a new investor can partake in from the US? So yes, countries have different stock exchanges. So Johannesburg has its own stock exchange. And as a foreigner with a valid passport, you are able to invest and open up a non-resident account. Yes, so different banks will allow that. And you will have to do your research on what banks will do that. But if you have an interest in working directly with us, we do have bankers that we work with and we can actually recommend to you offline. But because this, and I never provide financial advice, I purely share information. And so for those that have an interest in working directly with us at Ashley in Africa or Africa Investors Academy or AIA Ventures, we can support you by connecting you with our vetted experts in banking, legal advisory, as well as investment advisory. Thanks, Gina, for asking that question. Yumi, you're joining from Nigeria. So what type of investment business am I into? So I have my own kind of private things that I'm invested in. And I'm essentially creating opportunities for people to be aware of different investment opportunities. So I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to look at the last stream from yesterday where we talked about the investment opportunities fueled by tourism for real estate investment opportunities with Fumba Town of Zanzibar. But that is an opportunity that people can get involved in. I do not take investments from folks. I simply provide the information. I provide a channel and I provide content for you to be able to access that information and those opportunities. So, real estate is one that I'm publicly sharing. And as other opportunities come my way that I'm able to vet and build confidence in, I share with the community kind of on that level. Awesome, Andrew. You're thinking of relocating to Kenya. So I want to know, what is the challenge? What's holding you back? Julie, you're from France. Welcome. Yeah, I mean, really the sky's the limit. Obviously, I recommend that everyone visit first. Visit to this place that you have an interest in investing in, because you want to know what you're getting invested in. Obviously, do your research outside of YouTube. Understand the economic trends. Oh, excuse me. Understand the economic challenges, the political landscape. Understand what it is that you're wanting to invest in and spend time there, so that you can make an informed decision. You know, Latanya, welcome from Georgia. You have, I don't know, what do you mean? What do you have? All right. Can someone tell me where we are with likes? We've got 30 people on the stream. I'm hoping that we at least have 30 likes. So if you're in the stream, like the content, it's free. Support our stream. All of the information is below how you can support us. You can head over to ashleyinafrica.com. You can purchase some of our products that we've created just for you. You can send us a Cash App, a PayPal. I really appreciate your support. And so right now we've got about 20 likes, 36 people, 37 people in the chat. Go ahead and like the stream. Let's get to 30 likes before we move forward. And if you want to join the stream, let me know. If you want to talk more about the state of economic growth in the US or in the UK, what is happening, what is discouraging you, and what excites you about investment here on the continent of Africa. Personally, I don't feel like um, continuing to invest in a place with a foundation that has been based on the oppression of a certain people is sustainable. And so you can only grow so far. You're going to have a ceiling, in which it's going to jeopardize or compromise your vision if the intention is to stay Black owned and contribute to the growth of a Black economy, right? So that's my position. I think Black business is great, right? Like I love seeing Black people's businesses into Target, or Black founders getting capital for their ventures. But the other side that isn't really shown is what that now means when you have venture capital, or you have investors that are not interested in keeping your brand in alignment with the goal or the vision originally set out. And not every business has that, right? Not every business has the vision of being in one lane forever. And so understanding all of those things is important. But I think what we constantly see, in the US when Black businesses are under attack, so to speak, is this emotional uproar, this emotional exhaustion, this depletion, and like just kind of energy that is just defeatist. And it's sad to watch because it is a cycle, and like it's a perpetuating cycle that is doesn't seem like it's gonna end, right? So that's my position. Where are we at with likes? Can I get a like count? Will somebody share with me where we are in the likes? I'm not seeing any more. So we'll go ahead and take a break until we get the likes up. All right, appreciate you. We got the likes up. I appreciate everyone. Thank you for that. And great, we're sharing some really great content. JSE The Johannesburg Stock Exchange in South Africa is the largest in Africa. Thank you, uh, Saki or Saki. Is it Saki? Thank you for sharing that. I know about it, but I didn't want to misquote. So I'm so happy you shared that. I didn't know if it was the largest, but I do know that the South African rand is the only currency traded um, on the Forex trading exchange. Is that an exchange? Yeah. Wonderful. Latanya joining from Zanzibar. Fantastic. All right. So Yumi, yeah. Yeah, it's not, it's interesting, right? Because we're a resilient people all over the world. We're the most resilient people that have graced the face of this earth. Um, and I think if we were putting in that energy, the energy that it takes for us to be resilient in a environment that is committed to our, you know, demise is so much more energy than we could use to put into the growth of our business and the growth of our economy. I had to get my mama voice on, y'all. I don't know if y'all heard Penelope in the background cutting up, but it's almost bedtime, thank God. All right, Latanya joining from Zanzibar. So John says you provide engineering and product manufacturing, hands-on training and education to companies here in the U.S. I am bringing this to Kenya in August. I would also love to explore South Africa. Fantastic, John. Congratulations. That is exceptional. One of the industries that I have listed in my top 10 six-figure businesses for Africa is education and trade. And so there's such a need for trade, education, talent, workforce development for B2B as well as B2C. And, the traditional education model is not sustainable. So we've got thousands, tens of thousands, probably millions of college graduates here on the continent that are unemployed. And so we need to be really intentional about teaching entrepreneurial skills, teaching people how to build businesses or to create service provider businesses where structures where maybe you don't want to manage 20 people, right? Maybe you don't want to manage 100 people. Maybe you just want to have yourself and an assistant and a couple social media prompts. You can still do that and you can have a six-figure business, seven-figure business, eight-figure business doing that and live a very comfortable life and be independent and interdependent of corporate structures that are not really meant for the growth and the wealth development of yourself and your family. All right. So, Yumi, your question. This is a good question. So, I can't speak for all African Americans. I can only really speak for myself. However, I do know other African Americans that are doing business all over the continent. I know African Americans doing business in Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, Nigeria, um, Benin, all over, right? So there is business being done. Now, for me specifically, I do business in both Tanzania and South Africa. There is a bit less of a learning curve when you come to do business in South Africa because South Africa has made itself a very business friendly environment for foreigners. And it's very, it's clear that it's set up that way structurally. There is legal protections, and there isn't a language barrier, right? So uh, that's why I chose it. I also chose for other reasons that included, access to certain amenities. access to just a different lifestyle that I could have exposure to, as well as my daughters have exposure to. But now the benefit is that we're able to do business in both countries and move back and forth and travel. So I know, African Americans doing business in Nigeria as well. And so this is not about, this is about where people feel best led. There is a spiritual reason why certain people are connected to certain parts of the world, right? Which is also why I realized that Africa is not the place for everyone, every diasporan. But if you feel spiritually led, if you feel spiritually drained in a certain place, like why not remove yourself from that environment so that you can thrive elsewhere? All right. So thank you, Yumi, for that question. Um, Stop. Thank you. Um, oh, hi, Nicole. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, I'm so happy you joined us. You found value in the first session. Um, yeah, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you joining and being a new member. I would love for you to share kind of what your experience was like on the first day, what type of value, if you got some opportunity to check out the resources. But I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. Yes, Patrick's talking to John, DIY John, much needed. So we welcome you. And in the comments, let's keep it cute. Let's keep it cute and be love in the comments. Which language do I believe will be the number one spoken throughout the continent? So I think it's going to be a challenge because there are thousands of languages spoken throughout the continent. I do think currently Swahili is the most spoken language on the continent, the most spoken African language on the continent. Um, I think that that will continue to grow, especially as the East Africa Commission continues to strengthen itself, participate in intra continental trade, continues to focus on trading within their currencies outside of the continent. Um, so I do think Swahili has a pretty good chance of being the largest spoken language on the continent for a while, because it currently is, right? I believe that that's the case. Um, Explain this, Ashford. Tell me what you mean by this. All right, let me get into the question. Started selling solar panels in South Africa, imported from Germany and the Netherlands. We've already sold out our first allotment in a month. It was supposed to last for 4 months. Huge, Londell, huge business. So some people talk about this energy crisis that is happening in South Africa, and while it is dramatically affecting a huge part of the population that is here in South Africa, that is um, not able, right? It's affecting a huge population. It's affecting everyone, but I'd say negatively impacting those that are on the lower economic income scale, right? Because there are constantly thousands, millions of people that have moved into the country from all over the continent, from all over the world, and those that are moving into said areas are not necessarily able to, afford alternative energy sources like solar, inverters, generators, etc. But those that can afford it, and for companies that are willing to price these products at, at a fair price, they're clearly there's a huge market, right? There's a huge market, and for folks that are willing to price um, products in this way, I mean, they're winning, right? So good job, Londell. Where are you from? You said you're importing them from Germany. Are you South African? I'd love to know. That's an interesting perspective, Mosi. Yes. everywhere has opportunities. Developed nations, South Africa being the most developed country, um, one really the most developed country on the continent, there are still opportunities, right? But there are opportunities all over the continent, and there's plenty to be exposed and continue to grow. Africa is not slowing down on its development, but it needs innovators, problem solvers, people that are willing to take risks to come and understand those challenges, understand those problems that need to be solved, while unlearning a lot of the ways of doing business that we've learned in the West, because it's not business as usual, right? There's a lot of things that have to be done on our side to be able to integrate properly, to be able to communicate, to understand cultural nuances, cultural differences. Those things are important. What? What? You want puppy? Okay, get your puppy. It's time for bed. All right. What are some of the challenges that I faced when doing business as an African American? Um, so honestly, in South Africa, I haven't had many challenges outside of just being patient. The things that you need to get done just take time. Um, and I'm not used to, well, I actually am, because I've been here going on 3 years on the continent. There is just a level of patience that's required to do business. There's just a level of patience that required because things take time. I will say, when I was in Tanzania, I initially struggled with the language and picking up Swahili fast enough to be able to build relationships professionally that um, would allow me to enter into business spaces and business relationships. It took me a while. It took me a little over 2 years to develop and forge strong relationships where I'm now able to put on events and do actual, provide services to African businesses in Tanzania. So I'd say challenge, language, understanding the culture. But me, I've been an entrepreneur since I was in college. I know how to be versatile, I know how to be flexible, I know how to communicate. And so I have a lot of those skills to be able to translate in different spaces that has ultimately been really, really valuable for me doing business here on the continent. I hope that answered your question. So I can't speak for everyone, right? I can't speak for everyone. I can speak for myself. You know, I think that there is very little upside in focusing on what someone else is doing. The most and the best thing that we can do for ourselves and for our community is to focus on the needs of our community. And what are those needs? And focus on those and continuing to solve those problems. Amazon has proven to show an opportunity, a valuable opportunity to solve a problem for many small businesses. If you can position yourself to be a vendor on Amazon, you can potentially be very, very, very successful. Now, this will take a toll on some other businesses. And so the focus should be on, what do our businesses and our communities need? What are the problems that they're facing and how can we solve them? Because technology is not going away. It's going to continue to show up and it's going to continue to get better. So when people talk about AI and its replacement of jobs and opportunities, the reality is it's not going away. So what do? Your job in this season is to be able to invest in yourself and invest in skill sets so that you can be competitive with the growth of technology and innovation, because it's not going away, right? So focusing more energy on what problems you need to solve for you and your community is what I think about Amazon entering South Africa. Does that make sense? I hope that was helpful. I hope that was helpful. Patrick, yep, this is exactly right. Exactly. That's the solution, right? So if you can solve problems that are going to make people's lives convenient, better, more prosperous, fruitful, then you're going to be rewarded. Period. Drop the mic, Patrick. We could end it there, right? But exactly. Anissa says, please like this live. Where are we in the likes? Where are we in the likes? Please stop. Please. It's night time. Okay. Good night. Okay. Good night. Likes, where are we? Okay, good. We're doing good. Appreciate it. Uh-oh. There's our background. You need to go to bed. This is why I don't do lives, y'all. This I've been trying. So I'm gonna be doing them more. Going into August. The intention is lives every day, right? Lives every day. As we're promoting our summit in Zanzibar, and as we're just ramping up and the community is growing, adding more value, trying to get more engagement on the community. I'm hoping to create some different formats of content for everyone. I had no intention or no idea that this channel was going to grow the way that it has grown, and I'm so grateful, like beyond grateful. So now I'm creating infrastructure so that I can up the quality level of the content and be able to share, valuable, continuous valuable information as well as the visually appealing content for y'all. So yes, South Africa. Yeah. So and I use Take a lot. And so this is really interesting. It's interesting to see. Businesses like Amazon are very political businesses. So there's a reason. There's a reason, right? And what they do, and because having worked in economic development, being an economist, you understand when big businesses, you attract these big businesses with the intention of economic growth, with the intention of creating jobs, creating trade opportunities. We really have to look at it from the lens of the solution. And I know South Africa has been really good in shutting down companies that are not for the growth of South Africa, because I've seen it. So, I think for South African people, if South African people don't want it and don't welcome it, then South Africa people, South Africans should stand up and should be really intentional about, protecting the vision that you have for your country. So I support South Africans. Whatever y'all want to do, I'm here for it. All right. So do I plan on it? I'm open. I'm open wherever opportunities work for me. And I also don't have this interest in being this huge person that doesn't have a work-life balance. I'm a full-time mom, so I enjoy working and being a mom, or being a mom first and working second. So whatever, God has for me, I am open to it. Anybody that wants to send me to Nigeria to have some conversations about, luxury real estate, manufacturing, I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. So I'm down. No excuse, ENT. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. It has been a minute. All is well. Thank you so much for saying hello. You're visiting Tanzania in December. All right, dope. Well, I'm in South Africa now. So I don't know if we'll be back. No, we'll be here in December. So thanks for saying hello. Yes, China does a lot of business on the continent and in South Africa, really all over the continent. There's a whole Chinatown here. Yeah, I think this is a bit misleading. I know several people that have become, you know, suppliers on Amazon that have done really, really well. So there is always going to be competition. Always. Competition is the nature of business. And so it is our job, um, as Africans, to be creatively astute, intellectually capable, and continue to solve problems. Right? That is the reality. There's always going to be innovation and technology coming for your neck. Um, and how do you thrive in that is the question, right? So I think for South African people, if the organization is against the vision for the country, absolutely, like, do what needs to be done and recognize that they will not be the first nor the last innovation structure to shift the way of doing business. So your job, our job, is to continuously invest in ourselves, in our expertise, in our intellect, in our insight, in our skills, to be competitive, to be globally competitive, and to teach our children the same thing. Gone are the days of getting university degrees, masters, bachelors, PhDs. Like, those things don't matter. You can publish content on your own. You don't need to have a PhD to publish research. You can publish anything on YouTube, right? So uh, being able to be multifaceted in your expertise is super, super important, which is why, um, I take courses, I have a coach, I am constantly consuming content, books, audiobooks on how to be a better leader, how to be a better parent, how to be a better partner, how to grow a business, how to grow my brand message, all of these things every day. I'm taking a step every day towards getting better in that craft, and so should you. So should you. And these are also things that we talk about in the Africa Investors Academy Summit. So for members of the sorry, in the Africa Investors Academy, at the summit, we'll be doing a lot of this work on personal development, introducing a lot of different resources, as well as in the academy, we introduce new coursework every month. We talk about mindset work, setting ourselves up for abundance, how to price ourselves competitively, how to leave the corporate environment that's toxic and not meant for our growth of wealth, to create a business that's location independent and we can work anywhere. But it also contributes to the growth of Africa and Africans, right? So that's the stuff that we talk about in the academy. Those are the things that we teach. The link is there, ashleyinafrica.com. It's also in the description. If you have an interest in joining us in the academy, we would love to have you. And we're launching on a new platform in August, so the price is going up. So you absolutely want to get in now while the prices are affordable. I mean, it's an investment regardless of how you look at it. And it will continue to be that, because we need to be intentional about investing in our growth, and not just sitting back and letting other companies and other things kind of take us on an emotional whirlwind, because we have everything that we need to be successful. All right. So thanks for listening to my rant and my TED Talk. So let me get into these questions. Welcome, Warbucks from Kenya. I am now living in South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you. Thank you, Lil Ernest, Atlanta GA in the building. Welcome. Oh, you got all the questions. I hope you're supporting the stream. Can I get a super chat for all these questions? So I use a K instead of a C because on the Bantu languages, there was never a singular C in the alphabet. So for Bantu languages, Zulu, Kiswahili, there are others, but those are the only two that I know. Traditional Bantu languages did not have the letter C in their alphabet. They have the combination of letters CH. So the sound of a K was always made with a K. The sound with the sound of cha was CH. Ch, ch, right? So K in the English language could be C or a K, but in Bantu African languages of Swahili and Zulu and others, there is no singular C. And so Africa was also no, it was called before it was even called Africa, right? It was called Al Kuban. Uh, that is a name that was given to this continent and is not the original name, right? So that is why I hope I answered your question. Ruben, how is the weather now? It's still cold. It's nicer. It's not snowing, but it's still cold. Hi, Shirley. Welcome. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank y'all. So, we're heading up on an hour. I want to thank you again for joining the stream. You know, my passion is really entrepreneurship. My passion is the growth of Africa and Africans for Africans. And we can do that. You know, we can do that. I wish so much love, energy, highest vibes to all of Black business owners all over the world. And I recognize the strife and the challenge that it is to build a business as a Black entrepreneur in the US. And it's unsustainable. You know, it's unsustainable. It comes with so much strife, comes with so much. And again, I'm not saying that it's easy here on the continent. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying that it's doable without the presence of racism. And so that one thing gives you 20 years to your life. It gives you peace of mind and the ability to sleep at night. It gives you a sense of empowerment, right? And it gives you a sense of value, self value. And, you know, that's what we're all looking for. So appreciate you, Usman, for the $50 super chat and no questions. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting our content. I really am so glad that y'all find this content valuable. As I mentioned, and I do often, I never had an idea that this channel would grow the way it has and that you all would receive the value that I share. But, you know, I love it. I love it. And I appreciate you, Usman, for supporting the stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, this question. What are the ways Africans conduct business that vastly differ? So I do want to say that Africa is a continent, right? And every country looks different. Every country is different. Now, there are basic kind of cultural values and principles that are African, customs, traditions that are African. I will say that Africa as a continent is a family-centered continent. Africans are a family-centered, values-centered people. But as far as like cultures differ from country to country, from township to township, from tribe to tribe, kingdom to kingdom. I would say that being relationship focused versus transactional focus is probably what's most consistent. So in the West, I got the money, you got the product, let's do business. Now, that is the case, right? When you're looking at maybe smaller purchases. But for example, in Tanzania, there could be 5 Dukanis on one street. Dukani is like a small shop, right? A small little shop that sells rice, oil, coffee, Pampers, juice, water, everything. There could be 5 of them. like next to each other, right? You go to the one that you go to because you have a relationship with that Dukani owner. That dada, that kaka, you have a relationship with them. And so that's the Dukani that you go to. But they all sell the same thing and they all have the same price. It's about the relationship. It's not necessarily just about the transaction. Okay. I think even as you get into bigger transactions, for example, I am building a business right now, a beauty brand. Actually, I'm not even building, the brand is built, let's be clear. Okay. I am helping her to grow internationally. And I've been a customer of hers for almost 2 years. We've been having conversations about business and investing for over a year. I've been purchasing my products from her. And we're still having that conversation, right? So it's relationship based. People, and her position on investing is she doesn't necessarily want to give access to people that don't necessarily have the same vision for her business. She's willing to grow intentionally the way she wants to grow her business and not seek investment because she doesn't want to invite in energy or people that aren't in line with her vision. Right? So the relationship aspect, the values, maintaining values, is a very important from my experience in doing business. And if somebody don't like you, they don't do business with you. We talk about that in the US. Oh, I don't gotta like you to do business with you. I don't gotta like you. It looks like I went out for a moment. I need you to stop. You're making a lot of noise in the background. Okay. Thank you. Okay. If you're gonna stand here, you can sit, but you cannot be making all the it's making a lot of noise. Okay. Thank you so much. No, you cannot. All right, Alkuban, I hope that was helpful. Good question. So Africa Investors Academy is the community that we're building for people all over the continent, all over the world, really, to be able to build a location independent business. And so we're working with different corporations, different organizations to be able to train their talent on what that would look like. Right. So encouraging and providing the insight and the information for people to learn entrepreneurship. Right. So that is what I'm doing currently. And then through my business with Brand Up, we are attracting investment to South Africa. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. Thanks for asking. I appreciate you. Thank you, John. I really appreciate you. What do you mean? I want the money, not the emotional honey. Yes, thanks so much for your time and sharing your knowledge. I really appreciate it. Gina, you're welcome. You're welcome to South Africa. All right. So thank you all so much for joining the stream. I really appreciate your support. Continue to support us. Share this content with someone who would find value in it. Come back tomorrow. I am committed to going live every day at about 5:30 South African Standard Time. Next, the topic, I don't know, we'll see. And if we can get 100 people on the stream, I will start inviting people to speak live on the channel. So invite your friends, invite your family, invite people who find value in the content. And I will see you on the next video. Be sure to click the link in the description if you have an interest in joining the Africa Investors Academy or have an interest in any of the resources that I provide to the community for the repatriation, the reinvestment, and the return to the continent. All right. You, me. Yep. That's my email for PayPal. It's all there in the little ticker below. Thanks so much. Until the next video, guys. I'll see you soon.